Hello survivors and welcome to another video. In today's video we are playing on the Paladin. We did say that like 6 days ago I posted on the community tab a picture of us in Overlord and asked if you guys wanted to see how we got there. So I'm going to do a full video of us getting to about Overlord 12 or 13, depends how long it takes. It's normally about a 42-minute runtime, so that is how it is. There will be chapters of the video for each Overlord if you want to just like skip through each one and see, but you will notice in the chapters that each Overlord cycle in the very beginning they're very short. They get shorter, and then after a certain Overlord cycle they progressively get larger and larger. But let's get into the runes. We have to run a skill mastery, swing, ice, and thrust for shield wall, glacial infinity, and ascent of blood. We then have multicast mastery, Lord's Bane, versatile strength, and critical mastery. Lord's Bane is very good until the very last wave, where it actually becomes quite useless, because once you've killed the final boss, once you've killed the 5 bosses, whatever the 4 bosses, and you've got 1 boss left, you've got 25% damage only, whereas like something with sacrificial growth, you might have 80% damage. So Lord's Bane's still very good to get to that stage. And then critical mastery, absolutely beautiful for this because we get so much crit. But let's get straight into it. We do run with his 4th weapon. We do disable Void Presence, because the Void Presence, we land up standing still quite a bit, and the Void Presence just makes it that much harder to stand still, and therefore we aren't able to, it's just an extra thing to worry about, and we don't want to worry about that. You can do this on whatever curse you are comfortable doing it on, but obviously the curse 5 or curse 45 being the most difficult, or actually even having the Void Presence is the most difficult one. But I myself don't feel like being chased with the Void Presence as well, because majority of the time you actually can't even see yourself. So we'll see. You'll be able to see what I'm talking about when we get to that part of the game. Eventually it just becomes like an AFK simulator, and all you're doing is picking up your ascension. Alright, now the reason we changed from like the Barbarian originally with this meta to the Paladin is because of the Paladin's Ascension. That 95% damage is a massive increase. You get 50% increased armor as well. You get the crit and the crit chance, the crit damage and the crit chance. So there's just so many stats that you get that are just fantastic, and they are super helpful to you and your character. Now we are still hoping for the skills that we've got here. There's a chance we might not find them. We're hoping we do. We can just grab skills so long, it doesn't really matter. They are all going to get filled out anyway. There's Scent of Blood and Glacial Affinity, so that's perfect. And then some more crit, that's beautiful. We can reroll. There's Shield Wall, beautiful. Potency upgrades and an AoE. That is gorgeous as well. So we're going to actually lock the AoE and take the potency over here. Order doesn't really matter too much, but we did have the lock there to get both of them. Okay, we're looking for 3 more skills. All of them are the light skills, so we did get the hardest skills out of the way. The holy skills, not light skills. So now we're looking for Holy Beam, Exorcism, and Beacon of Light. And the reason we go Beacon of Light is for the confused stat that it gives as well, and then Light Beam for brittle, and Exorcism for the healing. So let's go and see what we can do. There's Beacon of Light, fantastic. Grab the health, grab the armor. There's Exorcism, that's beautiful. And then we're also going to need a bit more crit. We are on 55% already, but we are going to need more crit. We're going to need over 100%. The more crit we get, the more crit damage we get as well. And then we're going to be looking at Brutal Strike. Until we get Brutal Strike, the build is not going to be up and running. We could do something like replace Exorcism with something else until we get Brutal Strike, but it's better just to run it like this, so you're not really worried. You'll see Light Beam is going to be able to carry us when we eventually get it. Alright, so Frailty over there. Come on, where is my Light Beam? I don't see it anywhere. Life, Cast Frequency. We're going to grab the block. Desperation's fine. A Magnetic over there. We will eventually get the Doom. We're not too worried about that. But right now we're relying on the damage from staggering blow and everything else. But as you can see, so far the damage is very, very high. We're not too worried about that. We do need a lot of slow stack, so you can stack. You can stack the what's the wording I'm looking for? The touch of ice is the word I'm looking for. You can stack them because that's going to give us a lot of the it's going to give us a lot of stacks for glacial affinity. I don't know why my brain has decided not to work right now. Sorry guys, that makes it a little bit longer than it should be. But yeah, so we're going to stack as many touch of ice as possible, we're going to stack as much crit as possible, and then it's going to be as much life and armor block as possible as well. And then you'll see that everything else, like when we do get area, we do get multicast and cast frequency, but once we get the most important cast frequency is actually going to be for our Scent of Blood. Everything else's cast frequency kind of happens on its own because of cast Scent of Blood, and we are more than happy to just get Scent of Blood up and running because that's going to give us the most amount of everything. So there's a multicast over there. Again, we're just going to work on things. So we've done, these are the skills we're looking for. Then we go for potency over there. There's the touch of ice. We're going to grab ourselves the cast frequency for light beam. That's just going to help us deal more damage as well. Get it done and dusted. And again, just looking for general upgrades to cast frequency, to Scent of Blood. Area of effect for Scent of Blood and for glacial affinity are actually very good as well. A lot of people end up removing the area for the empowerment. I like to take them because I like to have a lot of area on those skills, mostly because they do have an area where they sometimes don't attack enemies outside of your screen. So the larger the area, then the more enemies it's going to hit. So you want to get that as much as possible as well. Alright, so we're going to go for this over here, gangrene, as well as the potency for that are very good. Hypothermia, that's fantastic. We want to grab some life as well and try and get, we're going to need a good combination of life, block and armor. Of course, we do have the potency to look at for all of the buffs. So every time we see a potency for a buff, we are going to grab them. They are super important. Potency being the biggest thing in the game for these buffs and for this build. So we want to make sure we get as much of that as possible. We're going to just grab Vicious Strike because we are running Versatile Strength as well. So getting one of absolutely every passive is going to be a winner for us. The faster we can get to that 90% multiplicative damage, the better this is going to be for us. And since we have Exorcism, you don't have to worry about being hit too much. You can take those hits, you are going to survive, you are going to heal. You don't really have to worry too much about that. So there's a thermal shock, there's potency, multicast over there, a blue indomitable. We will grab that. The block is going to be very, very good. And then eventually at some point, there's not going to be much to say. We're going to just land up probably being a little bit less talkative with its commentary, because eventually it just becomes the same thing over and over again, where it becomes the cycle of wait for the ascension, pick up the ascension, become overpowered, everything dies, wait for the ascension, pick it up, and so on and so forth, retaining the cycle. Eventually we do actually become so strong where we don't take, like, even sometimes we don't take damage. So Beacon of Light does make enemies miss, but we've got Light Beam with the Brittle, so those two skills are the most important skills, of course, with Scent of Blood, and then the healing as well being super important. But you're going to see we get locked into a corner, and we're going to take that and roll with it and just become very, very strong with it. So grab that. Damage, we can grab the Expansive, Unbreakable for less damage taken, that's fantastic. And let's just murder these bosses over here. So some of them still hurt, as you can see. We don't really want to take too much damage when we don't have to, but you can just see how much damage the Ascension does. I mean, we're on 465 without Glacial Might or any, Glacial Affinity or anything like that as well, so just shows you. Alright, armor, touch of ice, again, we're going to just grab them. We will maybe take 1 or 2 durations just to help out here, just so they do last that little bit longer. Even though we're going to have a low cooldown, getting ourselves the duration, especially in the beginning, does mean that we can run it a bit further without worrying about brutal strikes. But once we get brutal strike, you don't have to worry about duration or anything like that. As long as the cooldown is lower than the duration, it will constantly being applied. But at the same time, sometimes having the buff on a higher cooldown and a longer duration is actually better, because there are going to be times where you're going to land up having a buff that is massive, like the max it can be, because you just got it from fighting bosses, and then there's going to be a time when the bosses die and the buff's going to get reapplied, and it's not going to be as effective as it was when you were fighting the bosses. So sometimes getting a larger duration over a cooldown is actually better, but eventually everything just becomes a 0.2 second cooldown, so it doesn't matter. Alright, so there's the first one. Shield Wall definitely needs an increase in its duration. Even with a low cooldown, it is insanely high or low, or the cooldown is just really high and the duration's really low, so we do need a lot of cooldown reduction over there. But let's keep going. That was the first one. 658 is actually really slow, so we're gonna have to hope to be a lot faster now. But things do start to pick up, they start getting a lot better. But we don't have very good upgrades actually. We really looking for those lasting upgrades, hoping that we can get something better. But maybe I should have just run a lot more magnetic so we could get more levels than what we have been doing. But let's see where we can get from here. Alright, I mean Overlord 1, Cycle 1, not too bad. We should be able to make it to 6 or 7 very quickly. Eventually you're going to notice that it just becomes completely insane in terms of what happens with the bosses and their attack speed and their modifiers and just how much they go. So like right now it's only 100% increased health and like 200% increased damage, but we're going to see just how insane that all becomes the more we roll with it. So keep your eyes open, ladies and gentlemen. Still waiting for Brutal Strike. Until we get Brutal Strike, we will be suffering with speed, but it will be okay. I mean, as you can see, as long as we have cooldown for Light Beam, even if it isn't a 0.2 second cooldown, it will still melt absolutely everything with ease. So we're not too worried about it. But of course it does assist in that as well. So the more that we can get, the better. We're going to get these. Area of Effects fun. There's a potency and a multicast. So we do want that multicast as well. So we do lock it. And the potency for Shield Wall is extremely important. We do want at least over 1000 armor plus for it. So we're looking for quite a lot of potency just to get us to that point. But I mean, you can see over there, without Light Beam up, we really are struggling with the damage. So getting ourselves as much cast frequency as possible for right now is important, which we are doing. We're getting very lucky with the cast frequency, I must say. Alright, reduced damage taken, that's fantastic. The tankier we are, the better. The less damage we take, the stronger we're going to be. But you can already see how we were struggling, and then as soon as we get the ascension, everything just melts in seconds. Even the bosses, look there, they just spawned and then they're already dead. So I think you get the point by now. Alrighty, come on, where is this the skill that we're looking for? We can go for expansive over multicast over there, that's fine. We do want the area of effect. We do still need more crits, although we are on 100%, but we do keep taking crits because every point in crit does get converted into crit damage as well. Although it doesn't show it on the character stat sheet, you do end up getting more crit damage. We are on 656 crit damage anyway, so we'll see how that goes for us. Oh, but that's also probably because of our ascension. So we do get the crit chance and the crit multiplier from there as well. So it just shows you the higher those numbers are, the better it's going to be as well, because of the multiplicative modifiers that you get with your ascension. So I mean, that was a good example. We went from 80 to 105% and from 300 to 600% crit damage. Alright, those bosses all died without our ascension even active, just showing you that we are starting to, you know, go full steam ahead over here. Not getting a lot of potency upgrades. I'm getting a lot of cast frequency upgrades, which are still good, but not as great as potency. Potency is the one we need because we are looking to get as much damage, as much cast frequency, and as much shielding as possible. I am also just running around to defeat these. I was reading Meows's guide, and apparently they are worth a 50 spawn cap. I don't know if I was reading that correctly or not, but if that's true, you do actually want to kill those so that you can spawn more monsters. I mean, that was stopping 150 monsters from spawning apparently, but I don't know how true that is, or if I was even reading things correctly, but that's what I think I read. I probably read it wrong. Just seems really, really insane if that is the case. Okay, let's see what we get here. I'm still looking for... Ooh, okay, we're getting some good upgrades. There's a potency upgrade. That's fantastic. Some life. We're going to go for the cast frequency over here. It's going to be fine for now. We really need that brutal strike anytime today, game. I'm actually, although Leviathans are quite good, I'm not going to be grabbing them. We'll grab the area of effect for lasting. There is a lot of lasting in this game. I think actually every single tag except for exorcism is lasting, and that means we are going to see a lot of buffs to lasting, which is fantastic for us because it does mean that every single skill except for exorcism does get buffed insanely strongly, or like just an insane amount of buffing to that skill. So let's go, we're going to go there. One more hypothermia. We're okay with 3 of them. We don't need more. We could probably land up banishing it if we wanted to, but I don't think we'll see that many more of them. Hopefully not. But yeah, we've got that going for us. And then you can see as you start off the round, the exorcism going off is applying all of your negative effects. So your very first one will give you all of the goodness that you need. Luckily, we do have gangrene right now. That's probably our only source of bleed right now. We do again need to get our act together and hopefully grab ourselves the brutal strike. Alright, ascension active, area of effect, potency. I do need to take the frailty upgrades to get more fragility. We do need to grab as much of it as possible. Also, another thing with the Paladin is if you just chill in the corner, you will notice that your Holy Light does actually land up very close to your character. So you can just chill in the corner and then you don't have very far to move to grab the light. So you can just chill here, like right here, and then it's literally like a step or two away from you, and it's easier to collect all the time. So yes, in terms of like moving around and active gameplay, the build isn't fantastic, but in terms of meta and just how strong the build is, it is really strong. Alright, multicast over there, some damage. We don't no longer need the cast speed or the cast frequency on the glacial affinity, so we're going to skip that for now. There's more potency. We'll take a fire shield. There's more potency. We finally found our brutal strike in Overlord 2, which is now 400% increased enemy damage, but the brutal strike can be increased over there. Light beam, another potency that is looking fantastic for us. So we actually just hit the pinnacle of our build now. Having that bleed is going to mean that now we're going to start seeing those juicy 0.2 second cooldowns. We do just still need a little bit more cooldown reduction on our scent of blood, so that we can get it active more often. You can see already we kind of killing things too quickly already. We don't really get to see that juicy 0.2 second cooldown just yet, but it will be coming. And you can also, if you haven't noticed, the Overlord cycles have been going slightly faster. That is because we kill everything. You need less enemies to spawn the bosses, and then we also kill the bosses very, very quickly as well. So it's like a flip side. I mean, there's the next boss spawn. That's already everything pretty much instantly killed, except for whichever boss is hiding away over there. Sometimes Gammoth and the Column or the Fallen, the Eternal Knight and the Fire Incarnate like to spawn away from you, and they stand still. They don't actually walk up to you. So those two bosses are very irritating to get. The rest of them do land up running up to you. I do know the Ice guy runs up to you, but he's very slow. Alexi also doesn't really like to run up to you, the Poison guy. But the other three bosses, Prophetess, the Chaos Bringer, and the Fallen King, or whatever his name is, they do that. And as you can see, if you don't have your shield wall up and you're not careful, you can lose a life like I just did there. So don't do that. You do need to pay attention when the bosses do spawn. So we're going to grab that there. We do need more defenses. So as soon as we see armors and helds, we are going to start taking them now, because we are, but that we do need that first. Duration over here is going to actually be more important than, actually we're going to grab the potency too. That duration is going to be very important, so us getting it is going to be very, very good. Gangrene gives us even more bleed stacks, so we are going to grab that. Armor, potencies, again armor and block is going to be important. A duration over here might be very good, but I think we're going to skip duration on glacial affinity. We're going to go for the armor. Again, more potency, multicasts and things like that. Our crit is only on 80%, so we do need to get that up and running. Again, the more crit we have, the stronger we are going to be. Alright, and then it is advised to use auto aim when playing this. Otherwise you are going to have to just aim your attack slightly, and it just makes it a bit awkward. You don't really want to do that. It's just a lot easier when a light beam is completely, utterly destroying everything, and you're able to just chill and kill everything with it. So it's kind of funny how your character like spins around killing everything, and that's because of a light beam being attracted to him. So you'll see now like there, the beam just goes meow, meow, meow. So it's pretty cool to see. Alright. At least each map has different music. And then every time the bosses spawn, the music was supposed to change as well. But I think they spawn and die so quickly that it doesn't even matter too much. like the music can't change fast enough. It probably gets confused, like, aren't I supposed to be playing some other music right now? And then bam, everything's dead before it can even change. Alright, next boss fight occurring very soon. We just need things to die a lot faster. And then also light beam, the more AoE you've got, the more things it's going to hit and kill that are further away from you. So you also land up in a very good space over there. We do have our shield wall up over there, so we were able to survive any damage that would have occurred otherwise. Let's go and get our ascension back up and running, because we did run out of that. But that's okay. If you are struggling with the red circles, just run away from the ascension and then run back to it, and you will be able to survive the onslaught of the red circles. Alright, I am going to use all of my skill points at the very end. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you use them beginning, end, as long as you don't die during the actual Overlord cycle. So you should be able to use them at one given point. Like I am, you can see those 28 level ups are going to happen. But we're going to do them pretty quickly as well, just to not waste too much time. Otherwise, half of the video is going to be me in the level up screen. So let's do that. And now we're going to go as quickly as possible. Every time we see certain things like potency, it's a given. Blocks, crits, and things like that. So we do want to try and get those things going as much as possible. Touch of asses. Everything that's blue I'm just clicking on. You could probably make more better guesses or better rolls than what I'm doing, but this is just how I do it. Of course, duration over here, we're going to take one duration. The rest of them, I think we are at a point now where we can actually take that one over there. We got an exposed weakness as well, so that is fantastic. The durations, we do just want them a little bit higher, so that if Center Blood isn't proccing correctly, then at least we still got the skill up and running all of the time. It just helps with it. It's like a safety net, because sometimes Center Blood, when you've got it at a low cooldown, it doesn't proc 100% of the time, like at a high cast frequency, because it is all based on how many stacks of bleed the enemies have. And then obviously if you're killing them too quickly, they're not going to have that many stacks on them to show for the Center Blood. So I mean, if you kill something before Center Blood casts, obviously you're not going to have enough cast frequency. So it's mainly for the much higher cycles when we don't kill things in one shot, and then we go from there. But as you can see, we kill absolutely everything. Even the bosses are completely melting, and this is in Overlord Cycle 4, where we don't even need to worry about absolutely anything. Already on 1000 extra damage and 2500 extra HP, so it's really insane. But there you go, you can see just how quickly all of them are dying. Alright, we do want Beacon of Light to actually be even more AoE on it. It does have room to grow, it does have an edge. If I can see the edge, then there's a problem. You do want it to be completely off screening, so that it can apply as many stacks of confusion as possible, because confusion stops the enemies from hitting you. So when you would otherwise take an attack that might kill you, like something like Alexa's the plague, I mean the Chaos Bringer's bomb attack, like just what just occurred over there, you are able to have him miss that attack and or just block the attack, whatever the case may be. So we do want as much of that as possible. Area of effect, we can take the damage over there. Slow, potencies, magnetics are good. Armor, we don't need the durations anymore, so we can get that out of the way. Those health, armors, block, damage increase, beautiful. We'll go for the life. Area of effect, again, don't really need cast frequency anymore. we'll grab it. We'll grab it until it's like on its own below the cast frequency range. And then we'll land up banishing that so we can only really get potency for the buffs. So we'll keep grabbing all of them. The other thing we can do is actually get rid of like the poison, the slow and all of those things, except for slow, because we of course want slow for glacial affinity, even though the slow cap is reduced right at the, I mean, we reach slow cap right at the beginning. We do want as much of the cap as possible. I mean, not the cap, we want as many slow stacks as possible, because the more slow we have, the more damage we're going to do with glacial affinity. Alright, that was a bit of a rough start over there, but we've killed all the bosses. That was already 2 sets of bosses that spawned at the same time. Again, you can see we do get pushed around quite a bit, but that's okay. We have the exorcism to counteract all the damage that we take from them. And you can see just how quick we are able to still kill all of these bosses. And it's quite funny because we just started the Overlord cycle, and then as soon as we started it, we already have finished it. So not even a time to get my ascension up and running just yet. So that's what I mean. At a certain point, you land up finishing the runs faster than what you start them off with. So it's really cool. It runs really quickly. We are going to run that a bit lower. I think we should be at a good spot now to get rid of that. And then we can start looking at just armor, health, and other things like that. So banish the duration, get the crit, area of effect still good. There's the potency upgrades we're looking for. And then we just go defensive from here. We can go one more fast frequency over there. And now that is it. Oh, that's very interesting. How did Scent of Blood reduce its own cooldown? It is. How? It's not supposed to. Maybe it is supposed to, and I've never noticed. Okay, we just don't want to get like shield bashed into something that's going to kill us. So we do need a lot more armor. We're on 1,300. That's a rookie number. I mean, if we have a look at our armor, we're only on 89% damage reduction. I say only 89%, guys. 89% is a huge amount of damage reduction, but we would like to be on like 92%, just because the more damage reduction we have, the less damage we're going to take, and then we are able to heal it all back up again a lot sooner. So we do actually want also our exorcism to have a lot more multicast and cooldown reduction as well, because that's going to help us with that. But you can see as soon as we get all the bosses up and running, everything does go down to like a much lower cooldown, and that was just so much quicker as well in terms of run speed. We do take magnetics, and the reason for that is because it does help us with keeping up with the curve of XP. You do get less XP per level, so the more XP you get over a long period of time, so the more magnetics you get, the easier it is for you to continue getting your XP and things like that. So we actually do want more Doom, and the reason for that is we don't even have our days to Doom yet. I don't even have rerolls to reroll when we get cast frequency. So we need Impending Doom. That's also going to be quite a big jump for us. So we can hit caps a lot faster. And then also apply Dazed, which we don't have in the build just yet. So that's going to help us as well. And we just need things like that. But now you can see things don't die as quickly. So we've already hit Overlord Cycle 7 now. We need to just be a bit more careful. But you can see now, because things don't die as quickly, although they are dying very quickly now, but Scent of Blood has procced nicely, so we are running not even at a 0.2 second cooldown yet. Everything is at a much better pace though, and you can see just how much of a difference it does make when you do have that. So everything does get stronger and stronger and stronger, and then that makes us stronger and stronger because we're able to apply all of the effects like we want to. And then we're just going to use Exorcism to heal back up, just try and dodge some of the damage so that we can heal back up and not die. So let's not take a big hit right now. That would be handy. And there we go. Going to turn the visibility down a little bit over there. So let's go. Potencies, thank you. I need more damage, that's perfect. Potencies, beautiful. There's our impending doom. Some more potencies. HP is good. Multicast, another slow, doesn't really matter, but there was nothing better to take over there, so we take it anyway. Grab that, grab the potencies, grab the block, and then the crit chance. So, I mean, crit chance sitting at 135%, which means we have 500 and something cost, crit damage. So that puts us in a good spot as well. And then we're gonna look for about 300% crit chance. Obviously there is multi-crit, so if we get like 200%, then we're guaranteed to crit twice every auto attack or every attack. And then obviously as you go more and more and more, it's going to be stronger and stronger and stronger. So we're going to try and get that going. We also need to try and get to the corner so that our ascension procs are as close to us as possible. But look at that, all the dodging that we have to do, pretty easy, not too difficult. We did miss the ascension over there, which is a bit of a pity, but there we go. Get some healing up, there we go. Eventually it gets to the point that without our ascension we cannot kill the bosses, or that it would just take too long to kill them, and that's why we play with the Paladin, just because that bonus to his damage and everything is just completely insane. So it's necessary. Alright, one more set of bosses to go. We do have our ascension up and running, so we are going to see just how quickly we can kill them. Hopefully the quicker we can kill them the better, because that means they're going to deal less damage to us as well. Alright, there we go. Overlord Cycle 8 done and dusted. Let's move on to Cycle 9. Potencies, damage upgrades, crit, multicasts, potencies. Oops, we took a cast frequency there. Not the end of the world. There's a multicast, that's beautiful to see. But we can grab powerful strike. We should have taken the touch of us there, but we didn't. But it is what it is. One upgrade isn't going to kill us or, make that much of a difference. Excuse me, guys. Alright, so we just face tank the attacks. As long as it's not doing too much damage, we should be fine. As long as they do have confused stacks as well, we in the glued and the clear. We don't really, you can see that they're actually missing most of the attacks. They're missing as well as us blocking. If it doesn't say miss, then the attack was either blocked or just completely... what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's mostly that the attack gets blocked. So if you don't see the wording miss, the attack probably get blocked, and then if it hits you, then it's just reduced damage done because of our armor reduction, or damage reduction in this case. All down to the ground. Alright, but we are at a point where now we can just chill in the corner. You can see we kill everything really quickly, and we just sit here, and this is already the next cycle already finished. So a lot of people are probably going to be like, holy moly, I've never even been to the cycle, and here you are just completely destroying it while standing still in like 2 minutes time. So yep, that's how it goes. And then when we get to like cycle 10, we literally sit there for half an hour waiting to kill things. It just doesn't go up. It doesn't matter what happens, it just does not, like, time does not get any faster. It actually gets a lot slower. So wait till we get there, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be so fantastic. Alright, how much armor are we actually on? We're on 2,304. That's 91% armor, damage reduction. We've also got the 13% flat damage, or 13 flat damage reduction as well. And then we've got the 56% block chance, which is actually relatively high. So let's keep going from there. It would be interesting to use something like War Tank and not take Glacial Affinity. No, there isn't actually space for War Tank. If we had more Ruin slots, then we could take War Tank and go from there. But you can see already at cycle 10 just how hard it is to kill all the enemies around us. But once we get the cycles going, once we get the bleed stacks and things like that, things do take a little bit less time. However, we do still need to be careful of like the poison on the floor and things like that, because that cannot be blocked from what I know. I could be wrong there. I mean, it looks like it was being blocked, but I don't believe I believe there's less chance maybe of blocking it, or there's something with the poison on the ground and not working very well with missing and blocking and things like that. So you do have to be careful of the negative effects on the floor, and you can see I'm actually taking a lot of damage from these guys, so we do just need to try and stay away from that. We do have our Ascension up and running now, so we are going to kill them very quickly. Hopefully YouTube can keep up with the bitrate and what's going on right now, because it is insane. Just for me as well, I can feel a little bit of lag. I'm not sure. Maybe we need to turn the visuals down on my side. I mean, we don't even have visuals up right now, so I don't know what we can do to try and help that, but it is what it is. And now we're on the final set of bosses. You can see that the damage is going to go slower now because we don't have our Ascension up either. So let's just see what happens. We can obviously, I mean, we stay alive for so long anyway that we can just get our Ascension back up again. But it looks like we'll only be able to do cycle 2 before it starts taking too long. I mean cycle 12, and we'll go and do it. Get it done and dusted. Alright, this one should be the Ascension up and running, and then the bosses are just going to melt. There you go. So look at the difference in the damage. Very good, you know, to see that that's the case, and it makes a huge difference. Alright, we want damage well, we want both of these, but this one's a higher percentage, so that's good. That's 30%, this is 40%, so we're going to take the 40%, of course. Grab more armor, grab that, more damage, more block, just damage, everything, crit, then just damage and things like that. As we increase the crit, obviously it increases our crit multi as well, which is on 944%, when we have our Ascension up, which is actually massive, and that is so cool to see. So without it, we're on 500%, was it? Yeah, 210% and 500% crit damage. So that is huge. That's pretty insane. And now you start seeing that this is going to take forever. We're on cycle 11. As you can see, things do not die very quickly over here, and we just need the next cycle of blood, sense of blood, so that we can get it up and running at a good pace. Good boss start. We didn't really get anyone. There's no puddles on the floor just yet, so it does make it a lot easier for us. As you can see, most of the attacks are being blocked or missed, and then we are able to get our Ascension off and everything starts dying. So we do really rely on the Ascension. Again, not really needed, but you can see the only time we really land up getting hit quite a lot is when we're standing in puddles. But if you don't stand in a puddle, you can see your health hardly goes down, or it doesn't go down at all because they miss and you block. So there is a puddle there. We do just need to be careful, get away from it. Stay away from these puddles, and we should be good. And we can just chill in the corner as long as there's no puddle. We can just chill here in the corner. Our Ascension will be like literally a step away from us, but there is a puddle here now, so we need to move. Bloody Plague Master, Plague Bringer, such a painful boss. Always got his puddles, always wanting us to take damage. You know, he can't just let us murder him and his friends the way that it should be. Alright, time for you all to die. We got the ascension up. You can all get murdered now. Again, don't really have to worry about the puddles because we do kill the bosses quite quickly. Maybe if we focused on that specific boss and just get rid of him as quickly as possible. So there we go. We have had to use our ascension already twice now. We are going to have to get it the third time because, as you can see, the boss's HP is just insanely high and it just takes forever. So I am going to stop on Overlord 11, guys. This can go as far as you have patience. As long as you keep getting life, armor and block from this point, as well as crit and the potency for the buffs, you will keep going. There is no limit. The only limit that you will have is lag and or something like time. So you know, there's infinite possibilities over here. But in terms of just how long this is taking, it's already been quite a long time, and I don't want to keep going personally. So it's just a good video to show you how you get there. Alright, there we go. Ascension is back up and running, and the bosses are all dying. So we've always got 5 bosses up when we are on this part of the game. That's why Lord's Bane is extremely strong. However, what it does do is that when you do have only one boss left, the multiplicative damage does drop off quite heavily, and then you don't do as much damage because you don't have as many enemies being killed as you would have. So there is that. It does make a big difference. So you do have to kind of take that into consideration for when you are playing this, and try and go, or try and get upgrades and things like that to just try and help you with the damage as much as possible as well. So everything for light beam damages, and beacon of light, those are your 2 damage sources. So you want to try and get as many of those as possible damage wise. But otherwise, slow stacks are probably going to give you more damage because of glacial affinity and just how many stacks of slow you can get. So potency and slow stacks also going to be very, very, very strong. But you can see we don't even need to move. We just need to move into our ascension so that we can get it up and running. But otherwise, we don't really worry about whether or not we take damage. We heal it right back up again. We grab our ascension, and then everything around us just dies very, very quickly. So that was the final run I'm going to be doing. You can see we're still very, very much alive. We could keep going, but it isn't necessary. So we're not going to do it. Let's go through the portal. I showed you guys how we can get here, what the meta build is, and just how it works. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.